Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome to American Truck Simulator. Getting back to my roots just a little bit here, and trying to get closer to my original concept as far as producing content on my YouTube channel that kind of matches up with my blog site, planes, trains, automobiles, and farming too. And we're here we're somewhere in Idaho, and we're in our international Lone Star truck here. I don't know if I've ever placed this truck on the channel before, but here we are, and I am happy to basically bring this to the channel. And let's go ahead and just drive off the lot here. We've already got a job selected. I'm going to get my try to get my track IR working here, and we will head down and pick up our load. I believe we're hauling some gravel or some kind of aggregate, perhaps, for coastline mining. And so we'll go and pick that up. It looks to be about 3 miles away. So we'll be there momentarily. Let me make sure I get my cruise control set up because, well, I don't want to get any tickets. No need in any unnecessary expenditures, especially in the area of traffic violations. Sort of, I suppose, in American Truck Simulator, as it sort of is in real life for me. I do have quite the lead foot. I do have quite the heavy foot, and I am really cautious as a real world driver driving in the real world. Um, and I don't tend to speed in towns as much, especially if I see the speed limit signs. Going back to driving back to Texas once or twice a year, as my wife and I have done in the past. Not sure how all that's going to work out with the pandemic this year and the holidays and all that kind of stuff. So may have to skip this year. But anyway, I passed through lots of little rural towns on the way between Colorado and Texas, and sometimes those speed limit signs, especially in some of these the highways connecting these towns, often the speed limit is 65, 70, 75 miles an hour um, on these highways that we drive. We don't always drive interstate, and so sometimes these speed limit signs, and I know you all know what I'm talking about, especially if you do any amount of driving, you know that these signs are often hidden, or maybe you're just not 100% paying attention. You might be cruising along, and we might be singing at the top of our lungs to a Queen song or something, and the next thing you know, I look in the rearview mirror and I see red and blues. That has happened. That's a true story, by the way. And my wife and I were driving through Kansas, a number of years ago, probably 10 years ago now. And the speed limit in Colorado at that time, now I don't know about nowadays, but at that time, the speed limit in Colorado was like 75, and the speed limit in Kansas was about 65. And my wife and I had our favorite tune zone, which happened to be a Queen CD, and we were singing along, trying to do our best Freddie Mercury, and we crossed the state line, and I didn't realize it, unfortunately, and so I didn't bump my cruise control down, and as a result, the next time I looked in my rearview mirror, I saw red and blues of a Kansas state trooper. That cost me a pretty penny, doing about 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. But anyway, so here we are at our coastline mining site in Idaho, and of course, you guys, I'm sure, are just driving the heck out of Idaho. I don't know why that came up. hit the wrong button. And let's go to freight market. That's what I wanted. And we're gonna grab this. Looks like some kind of rock or something like that. We'll grab that and take that down to Twin Falls, Idaho. And we'll go ahead and take that job and then go get our load. So where is our trailer? Do we see it anywhere? Looks to be maybe behind us. Ah, it's right there. Okay, not a problem. We can get to that. So anyway, that is just a little story there about me and my real world driving antics. But yeah, I really try, especially like residential areas. I'm always below the speed limit generally, um, because you never know when a kid's going to dart out or something like that. And then, of course, school zones, I'm usually about 5 miles an hour under the speed limit for a school zone. Just again, just to kind of be on the safe side because you never know when a kid's going to jump out. All right, so we'll go ahead and release our trailer brakes, and I think we can possibly get out right up here. Not too, doesn't appear to be too heavy of a load for us, and really like this. Really like this Lone Star. This is, of course, one of the ATS models, not a mod. I've got quite a few modded trucks. My all-time favorite is that Viper 2, um, and I think it's Peterbilt, maybe. Yes, I believe so. And that is just one sweet truck. And I'll get into that truck and feature it on the channel in time. But been just driving a lot of Idaho, just exploring it. Kind of, I've set up a couple of truck headquarters here in the state of Idaho. I've got truck shops in all of the states. I've got all the DLC, everything from Washington and of course Utah and New Mexico, and of course the original stuff that came out, California, Nevada, and Arizona. Got those obviously. Really, really looking forward to Colorado. That is going to just be super sweet, I think, to explore Colorado, explore the state, both the mountain areas. I'm really hoping that SES um, is going to make me a happy camper when it comes to how they set up um, how they've set up I-70 coming up or coming across from Utah over towards across the Rocky Mountains and into Denver itself. That's going to be interesting. And of course, I wish that there was functionality built into American Truck Simulator. I've talked about this before. How I wish that there was functionality built in where we would have to stop and chain up in the wintertime. That would be super cool, and of course super immersive as well, because it can be quite a hairy ordeal coming up I-70, even in a car, even in a four-wheel drive SUV. It can be quite interesting. But I can only imagine what it is like to drive a truck. Now, those of you who have watched my channel or some of my ATS and ETS2 videos in the past, you know that at one particular point in time of my career, I used to drive a truck many, 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 many years ago. I've been in the IT industry for over 25 years, and my truck driving job for Dr. Pepper was many years before that. So I was still relatively young when I was driving for Dr. Pepper. But of course, I never, living in Texas at the time where I was born and raised, I never had an opportunity to drive in any sort of really inclement weather. I mean, the worst was a little bit of frost, maybe just cold days and such like that, but nothing big time like I-70 in the winter time. But then, of course, I think that I think Colorado is going to offer a lot of diversity as far as what we've seen in previous states. I mean, out on the eastern plains of Colorado, there's a lot of farming out there, and hopefully, the SCS will have accommodated some of that into the game, into the new map DLC. And then, of course, there's a huge wind farm out on the eastern plains. The wind just basically never stops blowing out there. And I sometimes come back that way from Texas, um, and they are, I mean, like you go and you go 1 year and then you wait a year before you come back that direction, or maybe you wait 2 years before you come back through there, and it's like, wow, there's a couple of dozen more of these huge wind generators, these wind turbine things. And so I've seen some of the screenshots that SCS has posted. It looks like they've accommodated some of that into the map. So perhaps there'll be some loads that we can take that will sort of match up with what's going out on in eastern Colorado. And then, of course, I'm sure that there'll be some loads moving combines and tractors, and of course, I-25 runs north and south throughout the state of Colorado. I-25 picks up somewhere down in New Mexico, and then runs all the way up through Cheyenne, Wyoming, and north into Wyoming. I don't think it goes all the way to Montana, but so that'll obviously be interesting once we get Wyoming. But I'm hoping that SCS, and of course I don't think we know, at least I have not seen anything in the SCS blogs or any of their Twitter posts or anything like that as to what the next proposed DLC after Colorado will be. I don't even know if we know right now a firm date for Colorado. I think Colorado is imminent. I think it's perhaps the best way to describe that as far as the time frame that in which we might start to see its release. It's sort of imminent from this point forward. It could be any time between now and I suppose the end of the year, but I think possibly fall time frame that will spread things out just a little bit between the release of Idaho and the release of Colorado. But we know that, and what I was saying is we don't know what state is going to be next, but I'm pretty sure that SCS has kind of proven to us that they're capable of multitasking. So I'm sure that while they're putting the finishing touches on Colorado at this particular point in time, I'm sure that they have already started the groundwork for whatever will become the next state to be released for American Truck Simulator. And of course, if I had my wish, you get two guesses, maybe three guesses on what I hope that would be. And of course, I'll tell you the first two guesses don't count, and I'll just go ahead and tell you that I'm hoping that it is the state of Texas. That would certainly be a nice, that would be a nice addition to the map for many reasons. One, it would give you some consistency across Interstate 10, all the way out of California, all the way across the southern portion of the U.S., all the way across Texas. I-20, obviously, as well. It's a huge state, so I would assume that, why am I poking around here? 35 miles an hour. Let me get my speed limit, get my foot on the accelerator here. It would be obviously a huge state compared to the sizes of states that they have been releasing as DLCs. Obviously, California is big, but that came as default. But Texas is probably bigger than Washington State, Idaho, and Oregon put together, perhaps, and lots of different, diverse types of trucking that goes on there. Obviously, You've got the Gulf area where you've got lots of petroleum opportunities. You've got just north of that, you got the big thicket, the piney woods, where there's lots of logging and everything that still takes place today. And then of course you've got just all sorts of goods that are moved throughout the state, headed north into, well, north and south into Mexico and up into Canada. So there's a lot of opportunity there. But if unless SCS just wants to fill the map working its way across eastbound, then obviously we would probably expect Wyoming and Montana to fall in line, because obviously that would leave a little bit of a hole up that direction. But only, I guess only time will really tell as to what will be the next DLC. And and of course, whatever it will be, I'm sure SCS will make it rather interesting, um, and we'll all have fun. All have fun playing it. But really looking forward to Colorado. And as I know that many of my friends who hang out either on the Simply Safe Mods Discord, or over on Eustace Pharmer's Atomic 67G, his Discord channel, or even Duckzorly's. I know a lot of you folks play American Truck Simulator, and I know that many of you folks are also eagerly awaiting Colorado, and then whatever is going to come next. Now, I took a little bit of a break in gaming in the springtime of this year, springtime of 2020. And of course, as I'm recording this, I have sort of relaunched my channel, trying to, again, as I said, kind of at the top of this video, kind of trying to realign my with my branding and everything, the planes, trains, automobiles, and farming too. And of course, that is the title of a great movie starring Steve Martin and John Candy. And if you haven't seen that, you definitely want to add that to your list. But I took a break in the early springtime, right around the time that the whole coronavirus thing, pandemic, broke here in the U.S. And especially around Colorado. I was quite busy before that, and of course, kind of that was a lot of the decisions that went into why I stopped producing videos back in December, January. Was just my amount of time that I had available. But so I didn't really play ATS and Farm Sim and such as that much between the months of February, March, April, maybe some into May. And so I've got to say that I'm rather impressed with Idaho, with this Idaho release. I really love what they did with those video icons, and I guess the reason why I started talking about the fact that I haven't done much trucking in the past is I haven't really done that. I haven't really explored Oregon and Washington to the same level of detail that I've explored Idaho. And of course, when Colorado hits, I'm just going to be all over that. But so to be honest, I don't even know if they included these video things within the other states, um, within Oregon or within Washington or Utah. But I have noticed them with Idaho. There's icons, little star-shaped icons on the map, and you drive up to one of those. And I did this back, I believe, when I discovered Boise, Idaho, a few days ago. And you drive up to these little star-like icons, and you can watch like a little video of, it's based on ATS, so it's not a real world video, but it's based on the ATS map and how SES has designed that. And you can kind of see a video overview of the city or the town, the area. And that's really cool, I think, because every town has its landmarks. landmarks. And that's kind of another thing that I'm really looking forward to with Colorado, is to see, how they've depicted. Hopefully they will do these little video segments within the state of Colorado, because there are some really cool landmarks within Denver, within Boulder, within Colorado Springs, and throughout the state, that I hope that they incorporate and feature, because that gives people the opportunity to somewhat, see, without actually having to travel and go there in real life, see some of these landmark things. And there's a building in Denver, in the skyline of Denver, that they call the cash register building, because it's the top of it is sort of shaped like an old-fashioned, um, um, kind of an old-fashioned uh, cash register. And um, and I hope that they feature that in the skyline of Denver, because it is pretty much prominent within Denver. And same would be, like, for example, within the Dallas skyline for Dallas, Texas, whenever they get around to doing the Texas DLC. The same with, say, Reunion Tower. That's the ball that's on top of the building there, and it's a restaurant, and I've eaten there a couple of times when I lived in Dallas, and it's very nice. It revolves, it turns. I think it makes a rotation every 45 minutes or once an hour or something like that. But you can order your steak dinner and sit there, and by the time you get done, you've pretty much made one rotation and can see all of the greater Dallas Fort Worth area, and it's really cool to do that. So hopefully they'll incorporate things like that. There's also there's some kind of a statue of some horses. I believe that's in Las Colinas, that often get shown on, especially on football, Monday Night Football, or things like that. They're often showcased. So again, it kind of gives a way for us as participants in the simulation-based game to see these things. All right, so I need to pull in for an inspection here, and seems to be a lot of inspection stations in the state of Idaho. I don't know if that sort of mirrors real world or not. I would assume that maybe it does. And so we'll just pull in here, and we'll set our parking brake and go ahead and hit enter and pass our inspection. Had quite a bit of traffic behind us, so I'm sure they're glad that we pulled over. And looks like a nice friendly driver back there is going to the give us the right of way there to pull out onto the highway. Thanks to them. I am running, if you're new to my channel and you just stumbled upon this particular video because you yourself are interested in American Truck Simulator, I do, much like I do with my farming simulator content, I do have a mod spreadsheet where I have all of the mods listed that I use in-game. And they're listed there. If you go to grizzlybearsims.com and click the information link, you'll find a detailed spreadsheet. It's a Google Docs spreadsheet, and look down to the bottom. You'll see different tabs. There'll be a tab for American Truck Simulator, a tab for Euro Truck Simulator, Farming Simulator 19, prepared version 4.5 and 5, and it lists all my add-ons and mods. And so if you see something like, for example, the real world, if you're wondering, well, why, Jerry, why do you have real world truck names in your video or in your game, and I don't? Well, it's a mod, and you'll find the link to it there in that spreadsheet. All right, well, welcome back. We are in Twin Falls, Idaho. Just came into the city limits here. Just discovered this city. I haven't been down this direction as of yet in my playing of this wonderful DLC map, the state of Idaho. and we've got just a couple of miles to go before our destination point. And I thought I'd just go ahead and take the opportunity to start wrapping things up here, to thank you all so much for watching my videos. For those of you who have been sort of longtime viewers of the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, thank you for sort of sticking it out the past 7-8 months without any videos, regardless of whatever the content has been. I know a lot of folks do watch my farming simulator content, and maybe not so much will watch the truck sim stuff, but I appreciate you all just the same, sticking it out, and not unsubscribing and everything. We're gonna eventually get to a point to where that and I sort of explained this whole thing in my farm sim video that you would have watched before, sometime before this, that right now, being unemployed, I'm spreading my time out between looking for another job, but doing some DIY tasks around the home, and I sort of thought, well, let me make some more videos and get stuff out here. So I hope to eventually come up with a schedule of sorts that will make it easier for me to produce content, to know that, okay, well, I'm going to do a truck sim video on a Wednesday and a farm sim video on maybe Tuesday, Thursday, and then maybe do flight sim videos once or twice a week. Not going to try to go crazy with videos every day, anything like that, because like I said, I am going to be looking for a job, and hopefully that the conditions and everything will eventually improve to the point to where that more Americans are back to, not just Americans. I mean, this truly is a global pandemic, and a lot of people are unemployed at this particular point in time. But that everybody gets back to work, and our lives can kind of get back to some form of normal, whatever that's going to be. But for now, as I'm sort of preparing for it to be a little bit of a process in locating a new job and everything, because there's so many people that's unemployed, that it may just take a while. And so with that said, then obviously I've got some time to do some videos and whatnot. And so but want to try to get to a point to where that I can kind of operate on a bit of a schedule, and put some content out. And I'm looking for the spot where we need to drop this trailer. And I guess it's back here. There it is. I see it flashing away. But anyway, I do appreciate you watching, and yeah, we're going to pull straight in. Appreciate you watching, and tell your friends about the content that you're seeing. Once, should this video come out before the 18th of August, um, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 does release on the 18th of August. And after that point in time, that is when one can expect to see some Flight Sim 2020 content on my channel, however that's going to be. So there we go. Perfect job. Excellent condition all the way around. And we'll just go ahead and get rid of that and head back to this screen. So I appreciate you watching my channel. Appreciate you watching my video. And come back again for another American Truck Simulator video or Farm Sim video, whatever type of video next. I appreciate you watching. Take good care of yourself. Be careful out there. And God bless you all. Talk to you soon.